Welcome back. Welcome back to me, because I've been gone for 2 weeks. Sorry I did not post last weekend. I was in New York for my birthday, and then I was in Idaho for a Halloween party, and then I got sick and my voice sounded like trash, and it's still not all the way better. But we're jumping into it because I miss making videos. Aww. Actually though, it was nice to get a little break, but then I was like, alright, enough of this real life stuff. Enough hanging out with my real life friends. I want to hang out with my internet friends. You guys ready for this? We're doing Astrophobia today. So let me ask you a quick question. How does this make you feel? That's Saturn. You know Saturn's pretty big, but it looks small. Why is that? Could it be because your eyes are small? Maybe. But it's more likely because space is big, and that's what we're here to talk about. I feel like space is so big that just calling it big feels so silly to me. Oh, space is big. Space is really, really big. Like, there's nothing you can really say that captures how big it is. But you know what they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. So we're going to look at pictures so that it'll be 1,000 words worth of describing how big it is. How does this make you feel? This is the realistic size and distance between the Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way. They look small. Andromeda? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Andromeda galaxy. This is really weird to see because at first you're like, oh, they're not that far apart. That was my first thought, at least. I'm like, oh, they're not that far apart for being two different galaxies, you know? And then I thought, wait a minute, Gregory. These are galaxies. Galaxies full of solar systems, full of planets and moons and just these are massive. The distance between them, when you think of it that way, is like, wait a minute. You know, you could probably fit 30 more galaxies in between them, right? And that makes me feel pretty weird. And I don't actually have this phobia. I'm just a bystander. I'm just the referee here. How about we zoom in on the Andromeda Galaxy a little bit, shall we? Boom. How does that make you feel? Really puts it into perspective. Look at all those stars. It's just a shiny pancake. And that's all it's ever going to be until I get to see it with my own eyes. I feel like our brains have a hard time comprehending things much bigger than a planet. You know, even planets are a little too big to comprehend, but it's like a galaxy? Oh, there's 1 billion planets in there? Okay, you've lost me. But you look at a planet and you're like, oh, that's scary because you can almost fathom how big a planet is. This angry looking ball is Mars. And I couldn't tell you what looks angry about this, but it looks pissed off, doesn't it? What would you do in this situation? Let's see, what are my options here? Die instantly? Can you imagine? And in reality, no, you can't imagine. I can't imagine. This is a galaxy right here. Like, you look at this image and you're like, oh my gosh, that's kind of spooky. A bunch of like meteors falling out of space. It looks cool as hell, but if you have this phobia, it looks like celestial arrows being fired down upon you. But can you fathom this? I mean, in reality, you wouldn't see it, right? It would just be over. You'd have maybe a split second of like, oh my gosh, giant space monster is eating my galaxy. What a hungry little guy. Yeah, you're not doing anything in this situation. These titles make me feel like I'm losing my mind. This is how it would look, Saturn, if it was at the same distance as the moon. Jeez. That's big. I'm kind of bummed that Saturn isn't the distance from the moon because that looks so cool. We talked about this a little bit last Astrophobia video, but what's the harm in a little reminder that you're small? You'd think that the moon floating around above our heads all the time would remind us that we're little tiny little guys on a planet hurling through space. If we just ended up with a new planet that just popped into our personal orbit, we probably wouldn't care after like a year. Although in reality, you know, this would just cause some crazy ocean behavior that would maybe destroy some coastal cities. But you know what? I'm not a scientist. I just think that that's probably what would happen. Using my own telescope and pointing it at a random spot in the sky, I discovered a completely new nebula of unknown origin. Wait, really? You discovered a new nebula? And also unknown origin? Do we know the origin of any of them? This is sweet though. I love the colors here. That's a lot of red and that little ghostly blue in there. That's nice. It's crazy to me that we have so much color in space. Like, I've feel like I've researched a lot of space, but I don't know if I could tell you why it's so red at times and why it's so blue and why it's so green, why it's so orange. You think it would just be like sort of colorless. I love it. I'm not complaining. I want it to be red as long as it wants to be red, but it feels like it doesn't need to be red. I'm just glad that it is. Here we go. Banana for scale. This is more Astrophobia. Oh, here we go, dude. Let's go. Huge banana. That is one big banana. The texture of it looks very like rock-like. You know, I don't know if I would eat this banana if given the option, which I don't know if I'll have. Ooh, it's blocking the sun. Nice. Here we go again. Ooh, now that's something else. That really speaks to me. I kind of wish, here we go. Can you imagine though, like if there was just bananas and various other fruit just flying around the planet all the time? Here we go. 140 megapixel picture of the sun, including a solar tornado over 14 Earths tall. Enhance. Oh, dude. This is the most detailed photo of the sun I've ever seen, for sure. You can see details. It looks hairy. The sun is hairy, confirmed. Be a great time for a Manscaped sponsor. The sun is hairy, and so are you. This kind of gives me the willies to look at, to be honest. Look at this. It's so gross looking. But this, that goes crazy. It looks like a cinnamon twist. 14 Earths tall. So that right there is 14 Earths tall. Honestly, not that big. It is. It's just that we've been looking at galaxies this whole time, so 14 Earths means nothing to me. What about this guy? Huh? Maybe 2 Earths? Do better. But yeah, this is absolutely wild. The detail, even from far away, looks crazy. It usually just looks like a big bright light, because it kind of is, but this gives it personality. It gives it a texture. It looks like you could like pet it in a certain direction to make all the little like hairs face the same way, you know, kind of like a fuzzy blanket, you know? But yeah, that is fantastic. And terrifying. Picture of the ISS floating above the moon. I feel like this has got to be pretty scary. This dark edge, you know, because you know that this is space back there. That's like, this is big, sure. But this big thing just kind of hangs out on the edge of space. And there's just nothing back there, man. I'm loving all these high-res photos, though, which is, again, why I'm excited that NASA's going to the moon, I think, next year or in 2 years or something, because we're going to get freaking 8K video from the moon. Whoa. Chat, is this real? Just people observing Earth from, like, an observation deck. They're watching you. Pluto's ice mountains. Pluto's ice mountains, dude. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I've never seen footage from Pluto before. Dude, these are mountains of ice. Can you imagine freaking ice skating on this planet? No, it wouldn't work like that. But can you imagine just being able, like, that's the main form of transportation, is you just skate? Whew. What if the sun went supernova right now? Whoa.
Oh my god!
They must have used the audio from something else, but they're like, are you filming? Yes, I'm filming. It's like, well, we are going to want to have this video for later. We're going to send this to the local news. They're going to think it's crazy that the Earth was scorched and gobbled up by the sun going supernova. I mean, of course, you wouldn't live this long for it to get this close. I don't think, unless you're, you know, good about the heat. You know me, I'm a little bit of a baby. Oh, 95, it's too hot. But yeah, you would melt. You would melt instantly. Here we go, another high-res photo of the moon. And again, you know, cool photo of the moon, but as a connoisseur of astrophobia, it is the around the moon that really gets me. It's the, yes, this is massive, but it's surrounded by nothingness. And it's actually small by comparison. Me being someone who's very bothered by the ocean and the vastness therein, I can relate to this feeling of vast and empty it's not a good thing to think about for too long. Here we go. The underside of your mom. I actually don't know what this is the underside of, but it's a planet, presumably. It's huge and dark and scary, and that's what we're here to see. This image is a still image, but somehow the longer I look at it, the more it looks like it's coming towards me. I don't know what that says. Maybe I should get my eyes looked at. That's weird, because usually my eyes are the ones doing the looking. But yeah, this is a very ominous photo. Just a big black ball of rock in space coming towards you. The UK from space. It looks so real. Nice try. The UK isn't real. That small dot is Mercury in front of the sun. We've seen this image a couple times, but it's such a good picture. That little dot is a planet. I have a hard time going much beyond this scale, but I can get this. I mean, even the Earth is too big for me, right? What am I going to do if the Earth itself was hurling towards me? Or it kind of is hurling under me. So, in a way, I'm the one flying this thing, and so are you, and just none of us learn how to drive it, so it's just kind of like, you know, going around in circles because we don't know how to turn. Maybe we'll figure it out someday. But yeah, what am I going to do against, like, the moon? If the moon starts crashing down on Earth, like, it's already far beyond anything I could ever do. I mean, heck, even like a car, you know, what am I going to do against a car falling on my head? You know, nothing. So it's far beyond what I could even influence. So this, in a way, feels like the top of what I can reasonably fathom, where I'm like, okay, I know how big a planet is. There's Mercury, there's a planet, there's the sun. That's too big. I'm not interested. But at the same time, kind of sick. Big fan. Let's give a round of applause to our sun. It's keeping me warm all the time. Sometimes a little too warm in the summer, you know. I'm not as a complaint, but if there was a little suggestion box, I would say a little bit less warm in the summer. If we could turn down the galactic thermostat just a little bit. Interstellar's black hole took 100 hours to render, and it looks amazing. And I love the amount of science that went into making it look as authentic as they could, and it just looks crazy. As far as sci-fi movies go, it's one of my all-time favorites, but I imagine if you have Astrophobia, that movie is probably a living nightmare for you. Milky Way above the Monument Valley in the USA. This is sick. Just a little bit of Photoshop and you can make the road go right into it, you know? I don't think this will ever be possible, but can you imagine if they found a way to do like essentially long exposure goggles? They just multiplied the light. Again, I don't think this makes any sense scientifically, but just some sort of device that you could in real time just like walk around outside and just see like this. Again, if you have Astrophobia, maybe don't put them on, but for me, hell yeah. Here we go. Andromeda and some other galaxy. I would say the Milky Way. If this picture wasn't taken from Earth, goofball. We're in the Milky Way right now. This is like the galaxy equivalent of the like, it's right behind me, isn't it? He's posing for the photo, but there's like a little ghostly galaxy right behind him. Dude, turn around. There's something right behind you. Jupiter seen from the James Webb Space Telescope. We talked a lot about Jupiter last time because it is such a good example of astrophobia on like a planetary scale, because it's the biggest planet in our solar system and also it just looks crazy. I'm just saying, if it was on the show, is it cake? I'd probably guess it's cake. It looks kind of like cake, doesn't it? Although that would mean it's not cake. So whenever it looks like cake, it's not cake. So it's not cake. But these swirls being just colossal, unfathomably large storms, just swirling and melting your face off temperatures, nasty to think about, isn't it? So don't think about it. Jupiter's big, but it's still not as big as your heart. That's so sweet. Here we go. The vape supernova, a little blueberry pomegranate metal in your lungs. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. I like that it's mostly just a picture of stars. Like something about good old-fashioned pictures of just stars. Magnificent. You know, sure, it's cool if you can capture a supernova or a galaxy or planets, whatever. But stars? Bro, there's just specks all over. Could someone count all these and let me know in the comments how many stars there are? Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm a fan. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up, I think, right? You guys feel sufficiently astrophobed? Are you phobed out of your mind? We didn't even look at Phobos. Hold on a second. Dang, dude. I've got Phobosphobia. Although this is pretty spooky. Although this looks more like a render than a real image, but it was the main image on the Wikipedia, so I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a big old potato in space, which is pretty terrifying to think about. We saw a big banana in space. Maybe next video we'll see a big old pumpkin in space. Maybe next video we'll see a big carrot in space. Anything can happen, so make sure you stick around for that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. We'll probably do Thalassophobia soon, and we probably should do Fear of Heights and Claustrophobia because we haven't done those in forever, like over a year. So we gotta hit some of those big ones again. Now sit up straight and don't forget to drink water today, okay? All right. Bye. And you know, feel free to join the Discord if you want. Link in the description. What the heck?